and safely peeking these player scavs to see what they want to do. Some are super friendly, super passive. They do not want to fight you at all. You turn that corner and they're instantly trying to befriend you, you know, just like that. Before we get started, I'm going to take 5 seconds of your day to say we have streams on Twitch and YouTube. We have a Discord, link is in the description below, and please drop a like and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to episode 8 of the Calzax Gaming Podcast, where we will debate, discuss, and journal our gaming experiences as well as the latest gaming and entertainment news. Today, we will have an emphasis on the game Escape from Tarkov. It's wipe time. We got a lot to talk about today. It's going to be a really fun time. My name is Caleb, Captain Calzax. You'll recognize me from many of our Calzax gaming videos and clips and streams. I'm up here all the time. You know how it is. We be hanging out. I studied actually computer science and math as well as game development at the University of Texas. So I'll try to involve that background in some of the discussions that we have, as well as just having some fun with y'all, all right? In my Tarkov experiences, right? So please feel free to chime in here as we go. Today's podcast is going to be a bit of a shorter podcast than usual. As you can see here, I'm a little bit here by my lonesome today. It's going to be a lot of just you and I hanging out and talking and a little bit of monologues here. Love to have my Calzax team as well as our guests alongside, but we're trying to phase this podcast back in. If you guys didn't know, I did want to update you guys. So actually a lot changed on the back end. I know the room looks the same as episode 7 to you guys, but on my end, we changed everything. We completely moved to a new city, things like that. So that's why it's been a little bit between podcasts, and now that we're getting back into that cycle, here we are. And so I just really wanted to make sure we get that back up. And so of course we're going to be phasing back into our normal with our friends and guests and things like that as we move along. But we got a lot to talk about today, and so I definitely did not want to miss the opportunity to talk with you guys about this. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I'll stop there. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, comments, let us know, drop them. We love to read all the comments. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the first thing on today's agenda, and that is SCAV Karma. We're going to be talking about a lot of new things with the 12.11 patch and Escape from Tarkov, and SCAV Karma is one of the ones that stood out to me the most. If you guys have been paying attention to our clips, we put out a lot out there kind of showcasing what the SCAV Karma is like. So if you're interested in seeing that, make sure to go check that out, give that some love. But let me just tell you about it if you haven't got a chance to see those or play the game or anything like that. Let me tell you what's going on. SCAV Karma. Essentially now they've incentivized scavs to work together in groups to try to increase your fence reputation, which means they've added more to the fence trader. And usually he just, only has one level. You don't level him up like you do the other traders. But now they've added this new tier that you can access from fence by playing your scav and not attacking other scavs, killing them, things like that, by working together with other scavs. So all in all, this makes your scav playing experience much different than previous wipes. Much different. In previous wipes, I mean, if you go in with buddies, you've got buddies, but otherwise you're there by yourself. Still against the world. Maybe the AI scavs are your friends, until you start popping them and you're going shopping for scavs, things like that. You see a looted scav, you're like, oh, him. I'm taking his gear. I don't want that. You go after him. It's a little different now, at least if you care about that fence reputation. And many of us seem to do care about that. So as you encounter player scavs, you will definitely have a different experience than before. Generally, if it was a player scav, it was always a fight in previous wipes, but nowadays it's a little bit different. So as you encounter player scavs, I encourage you to use your voice lines when you hear footsteps to just see if they're a scav. Okay, and this is of course assuming that you're trying to be friendly. If you're just going to shoot at people, doesn't really matter. But if you're trying to be friendly, this is what you want to do. After you see if they're a scav, maybe they respond to you. If it's an AI scav, they usually talk back, from my understanding. Nowadays, a lot of the player scavs also are talking back. So once you hear if it's a scav or not, if you don't hear anything, it might be a PMC. You're not sure, you need to be careful. But if you do know if it's a scav, use some wiggling and safely peeking these player scavs to see what they want to do. Some are super friendly, super passive. They do not want to fight you at all. You turn that corner and they're instantly trying to befriend you, you know, just like that. So others, on the other hand, will shoot you on sight. You really just don't know. So, but until you're shot, I believe from my testing so far, until you're shot, if you shoot at them first and make, you know, cause damage or kill them, you're going to lose fence rep. Even if they shoot at you first and miss, you're still going to lose rep. So that will happen, unfortunately. But if they do hit you, or if they killed other scavs, you at least will not lose rep, possibly even gain rep. To my understanding, you'll still gain rep, but I can't confirm that. But I know you will not lose rep. So that is good. You can protect yourself. It does make it a very, very different experience. Do keep in mind, they do have incentive to not kill you. But if you look juicy enough, they may pull that trigger on you and not care. So keep that in mind. Watch your back. You know, I mean, you never really know what these scavs are going to be about. I just try to keep my eyes around me. Of course, they could pop me. I could pop them. You never know. But it turns into some really interesting, like, working together. Just going in alone. Like, I'm used to, you know, playing with other scavs as friends and going in there and working together with them. But these are total randoms. It's completely new. And it really sets the stage for the VoIP that they're planning on adding into the game later. And by VoIP, I mean the in-game voice. They call it VoIP, VoIP. I'm not exactly, it's like voice in some, I forget exactly what the acronym stands for, but it's basically allowing people to connect their microphone to the game and talk to each other in local areas around the game. So in a certain vicinity, people can hear you around you in the game. They are planning to add that as far as I know. So that will be interesting, and this kind of sets the stage for that, right? So you also have a chance to summon up to one scav at a time to follow you. I think they had this in the game a little bit before, but they've kind of tweaked it now. So if you go up and wave at them and give them a little wave, Captain Forever, what's up, Holiday? Welcome, welcome. They might follow you, they might not. There's a bit of a chance. If your scav level's higher, they will follow you, and you can't really take them out and park them either. It's a little harder to get more than one. So just know that you can have a guy following you, just if you want. And then try to get some other player scavs, and you can actually get you an interesting little army to go take some PMCs on. Maxing fence rep will actually let you buy unclaimed insurance items, which is pretty interesting, and also make your scav loadouts much better. So there is some use to this. I know more people will enjoy this more than others. Some people just care about the PMC stuff. Some people want to get into this scav stuff. I like the holistic view of the game. I think it adds some stuff, you know, just more things to do, more experiences to have. I've had a lot of fun out there at scav, just seeing what people are going to do. You can see what a man is all about when you're looking him in the eye, giving him the wiggle, right? So that is Scav Karma. Please enjoy yourself out there, have some fun. Let me know what kind of experiences you have. We're going to be posting a lot of clips about these. We already have a series going on, testing player Scav Karma. Check out that series. We're going to be adding on to it. It's going to be some really, really fun clips. I think this whole wipe, things are going to be happening like that. So that's going to be really, really fun. Let's move on, though, generally to my factory expansion thoughts. Now, I have played a decent amount of the factory expansion. It's actually definitely one of my favorite maps at this point, because, especially because of the extra size now. I like those kind of maps that are, you know, the labs, the interchange, the even parts of customs. I just like the building fighting a lot, honestly. Sometimes I can get into the outdoor fighting. I can go play on woods. I'm not like some people where I can't go play woods, and I know that there's people that love woods and it's their favorite map, and I can really get into it, I promise you. But my favorite maps are the ones where people cannot hide in bushes, and you guys know that about me, and it's a little hard to do that in something like Factory. Like I generally, if I die in Factory, I walk out knowing that I probably saw you. And if I didn't, that was a big mistake, you know. Whereas, you know, sometimes I get bush killed on woods or shoreline or even custom sometimes. There's like not really any chance that I would have seen him, you know, so it can be tough. But with that in mind, I really think that they brought a lot to the equation here with the factory expansion. Of course, it was just a little too small of a map before. I mean, you know, of course, a great place to go and just duke it out, but the spawns were just so close together. You'd spawn and instantly be in a fight. Like, if you don't move right that second, you might be dead within 8 seconds or less. Less, honestly, dude. So now it just adds a little bit more distance between those spawns. Gives a little bit more thought about where people might be. And in a game like this, you don't want to be too close together. It just makes the loot, you know, not
you not be able to hold on to it as quite as long. And so even though it's still a small map, it gives you that much more time to just figure out what's going on, things like that. So I'm a pretty big fan. As for what they've expanded, they've actually added a first floor office. You know, basically where offices are, you've got showers on second floor historically, and then you've got third floor offices. Well, now there's a first floor offices as well underneath all that, and there's actually a hole from showers dropping straight down into the first floor offices. So I think that adds some new flanking paths. That's where a lot of people go fight. There's quests there to kill PMCs in offices. So that'll give you some interesting ways to at least run around. So at least if you hear someone in showers now, the clunk, 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 clunk of the feet in showers, they've got another way they can go. They can drop down through that hole. It gives you a little bit more of wondering where they might be. Things like that. So I love that. The other area is like across in that big silo room in factory where there's 3 silos that are kind of leading to the tunnels and stuff. Beyond that, away from offices, they added kind of a new area, and they added onto the tunnel system a little bit as well. So, and they actually added a new extract over there, which is, I believe, locked with factory key as well. So I'm pretty sure that gate 3 is still your only option for the unlocked extracts, but you do have that extra one if you get that key. So overall, just you know, I gotta love the expansion. I think it was too small before. Definitely one of my top probably 3 maps at this current moment. Really, really liking it. So I'd like to segue from that though. Let me know, chat, in the comments and things like that, what you guys are thinking about the factory expansion. But sorry guys, here. A Discord call there. But Tequila, I'd like to talk about Tequila this time. So Tequila is actually the factory boss. We've talked about him previously. Go check out our old videos if you want to see more information about him, even though what we're going to talk about today. We actually mistakenly thought he was named Kuvalda before, so apologies about that. His name is Tequila, I guess. I don't know where we got that information, but his name is Tequila. So Tequila is, wow. Wow, have we learned a lot about Tequila. So now I'd say he definitely does not always spawn on factory. He will spawn every once in a while. Not exactly sure what his rate is, but I've had plenty of raids where he did not spawn, so I feel like it doesn't happen as often as it does, right? So probably less than a 50% spawn rate, but I don't want to confirm that, right? It's just kind of what it's feeling like to me. But as for Tequila the man, he will essentially... you can find them in various areas of the map. I found them in upstairs areas near office. I found them down in the lower areas. But once you pretty much make eye contact, start shooting at him, things like that, this man will charge you with a sledgehammer. And it's pretty incredible to see. But we all knew that. Here's what really we have learned about Tequila, is that he has a lot of health. He is very hard to take down. His armor is incredible, guys. His armor is incredible. His armor is a class 5 face shield that covers everything but the back of your head. So they call it the nape, back of the head. And at least at the beginning of wipe, they may patch this. All right, but at this time, I have seen videos of Landmark wearing helmets with this thing. So I know that was possible. We'll see if they'll continue to allow that, but that's crazy. A class 5 face shield with these other helmets, that's just wow, wow. But here, it gets even better, guys. Guess what his torso armor is? It's a literal slick plate carrier, guys. Slick plate carrier that is turned into a tactical rig. It's insane. It's a class 6 armor. Tan slick with a rig on it. It's just mind-blowing. I had no idea. I believe he's got, it seems like he has the best torso armor of all the bosses in the game currently. So, wow. You need yourself a new kit. Sounds like you can take this man down. You've got yourself one. Just amazing. As for fighting him, he seems really hard to fight one-on-one. He seems like he'll chase you down, things like that. I've been able to kill him with squads so far. I did go offline and kill him myself, but it was a really weird experience. I mean, he's chasing me, just beating me down. He hit me like 5 or 6 times. I thought I was gonna die because he ate like 10 of my shotgun shells. I swear, it was crazy. But yeah, so I'm not really sure what the method is, you know, as far as killing him solo. For you solo players out there, y'all let me know in the comments what you guys are doing there. But for squads, you know, just try to take them on together. and someone's going to get themselves a new kit. I'll tell you that. All right, jumping on, I'd like to talk about some of the other things that they've added into the game that I've noticed. Some really cool things that they've added is like new lighting systems. This goes across actually all of the maps, not only the factory expansion. They've actually updated this across many of them. I've noticed new lights in, let's see, like for example at the gas station in Customs, they've definitely added new lights on the outside of that thing, and it looks really, really good. They've added new lights on the nighttime factory, which is really, really cool. I think before it was just pitch black, so it's really cool to see that. You can go in there and still kind of get around a little bit without the night vision now, to my understanding, and it might make it a little harder for the night vision people from the standpoint that there are lights kind of blinding them just a little bit. They also added like a projector in the cinema interchange. That's just a little small detail, but just little things, you know, that really kind of help bring the world and game to life. And so you can actually watch a little bit of like a news flash or something in that projector. Pretty interesting stuff. They're adding on to that world building. And just a very minute detail, but I did want to touch on that. Another minute detail that you may not have noticed, they did update the in-game maps. This is not, like previously you open a map and it was just literally a janky paper map image that you could look at, and that was it. And it was just like, this is completely useless. Well, they actually seem to have worked on that. I didn't remember them talking about it or hearing about it or anything like that. But if you open up these maps now, you can actually go ahead and zoom on them. You can scroll around. They look a little bit better. And you can add things like markers for your loot, locked areas, and more. Maybe like some stashes around the area. If you're watching YouTube videos, you could pop over to your map, add some markers on there, and that might help you out. So there's a bit more to it, which is nice. And I think that's been overlooked. So I encourage you guys to go check that out. Hey Griff, one thing Jesse Kazam is right about, he's helping me this wipe, just playing slower and scoping things out before blindly sprinting forward through areas. Oh, I know you, Griff. I know that's how you like to play. So I'm amazed that Jesse Kazam was the one man to help you change your ways. Well, welcome, Griff. Welcome. That's great advice. Great advice from C. Griff there, guys. If you guys are not up in the Discord, make sure to get up in there. Griff is one of our Sherpas, and a great piece of knowledge and tool for just really learning the game of Tarkov. What an experienced player. So I encourage you guys to get to know him. But let's go ahead and move on to some of the other things. Again, this is going to be a bit of a faster paced podcast today, but we have a lot of information. We're actually a pretty good ways into it. We're about halfway here. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the new gun that they've added this patch. And that's the MK47 Mutant. It's a 7.62 by 39 chambered assault rifle. It does use the AK mags, you know, like AKM. I mean, obviously it's a 7.62 AK type mags. I personally have not got to use it very much, so I would love to inform you guys a little bit more about that when I get my hands on it a bit more, but I have seen it and it looks really, really fun. People have said good things about it, and it just adds a little extra flavor to those AKs. And I believe it's a bit more of an experimental gun as well, so really interesting to see in Tarkov. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of it. You always see a lot of those new guns, especially something like this where it's not just like that STM9 that they added, where it's kind of a you gotta have some skill to actually make it work. MK47, you have to have skill to make any gun in the game work, but like it's not a semi-auto 9mm. This is a fully auto 7.62 by 39 AR. This thing is going to be a great time, and so can't wait to check that out. As for the scars, they actually have been delayed, so possibly coming in 12.12. A little bit unfortunate. Was expecting to get those. Those would have been great for this patch, but really looking forward to that. Still, he did mention when in the podcast he said variants when it came to the scars, indicating that there might be, just possibly might be, something more than just the Scar H and Scar L. Maybe they have something in between, another caliber for the Scar. We'll find out. Maybe not. Maybe that was just mistranslation. Maybe there's only two. We'll have to find out. But sounds like possibly 12.12. Get your hands on that MK47 Mutant though, and let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. I'll let you guys know as I use it more what we're thinking. And then also they have announced an in-raid trader for the Lighthouse map. This is going to be guarded by a potential boss and his cronies, and just a really new flavor for Tarkov. Of course, their other traders are being out of raid. They've talked about doing in-raid traders before, but now we have in a specific map we're going to be seeing one on, And we know that they're probably going to have really good stuff because of the fact they're being guarded by these people in your way. And, you know, only you're going to have to make it through some stuff to get there. So you'd expect a decent reward. It's going to be interesting. And the fact that you're probably going to have to bring the money to pay for it, you know, into the raid, stuff like that. I think it just adds a little flavor to the game. I'm excited to see something like that. It sounds like they've moved most of their art team from Streets of Tarkov. That looks to be pretty completed, at least in the art department, to the Lighthouse maps. That seems to be the next one that they're really wanting to flesh out and get out of the way there. Also going to be a fairly sized map, which I imagine most of the ones moving forward are going to be like that. And just kind of excited to see that. I'm not sure what the timeline is. It's obviously a little hard to tell with them, but we shall see. I'm excited. We have Streets of Tarkov on the horizon for maps, and then we have Lighthouse as well. So we know that there are 2 major maps in the workings, which is great to hear. Other than that, guys, I pretty much just wanted to dive my toes a little bit into my overall wipe thoughts so far, and just a bit about like my favorite raid since the wipe has started, things like that. And then we'll kind of wrap this up. I know this has been a quick one, but it's we have a lot to get over. I wanted to make sure we got out there, knowing that the wipe just happened. Like, this is all completely new information that we're just digesting, and we'll have to really see what it all kind of means. So either way, so far I definitely feel like this is a slower paced wipe than last time. Obviously, the last wipe to me was the fastest wipe I've ever been a part of, and I've heard it's one of the fastest wipes ever just due to the Bitcoin farm. The Bitcoin farm was essentially tied directly to actual Bitcoin values, and you can make several of them. It wasn't too much of a problem in the past, however, it was really good. It was a really nice thing you could make and still make a decent amount of money off of it, don't get me wrong. But last wipe, when Bitcoin prices started to surge, IRL, and the fact that Tarkov was tied to that, that's when you started to notice a lot of problems. It actually severely changed the game and made the grind of the last wipe go by a lot faster for people. People had it's not that, I mean, your best players in the game, they're going to get really good gear early on. They're just going to hold on to it because they're that skilled to hold on to it, chat. But I'm just saying, overall, anybody you'd encounter just had great gear compared to the wipes I've been a part of in the past. Really, really solid gear. So it's like, it's not that, you know, you'd encounter better gear than you would before. It's that you'd encounter more players with really good gear than you would before. So, it was just a different feel, so I wanted to let you guys know. If that was your first wipe, that's not normally how it goes. It's a bit of a slower pace, which I'm personally like. I like going through the phases of most people having the earlier guns and then going through the middle game phases and the late, but all those phases didn't really exist as long as they have in the past for that last wipe. So I hope that you guys will, like myself, enjoy a slower pace wipe this time, if that turns out to be the case as we continue. Everyone is also very slow if you're carrying stuff. They added a strength nerf. A little bit much, in my opinion. I mean, you have people. Some people thinking it's not. Some people thinking it is. But realistically, here's what happened. You used to not hit what they call the yellow in terms of your weight class until about, I think it was around, I don't know, 37 to 40 kg in the past, like 2 wipes ago. And then I think this past wipe, you know, 12.10 with the wipe 6 months ago, not the 12.11 wipe that we're on right now. They made it about 35 kg that you'd hit the yellow. And the yellow is where you'll start to notice the effects of your loadout, all the gear that you have in your bag, just things you're carrying, your weight. But they lowered that even more, to my understanding, to where I was noticing it right about 30 kg now in the game. And they also seem to have upgraded the effects of it a little bit. I believe before you could still at least regenerate stamina while you're moving. Now, if you're in that yellow, from what I have noticed, you cannot regenerate your stamina whatsoever if you're moving unless you're crawling, which is weird to me. Because if I have a bag full of gear and if I got 2 rifles, bag full of gear, maybe a GL and a pistol, and a helmet on, how's it going to be any better for me to lay on the ground with it all and crawl? Like, I just don't know how that makes any sense versus walking slowly or something. So realistically, if you want to catch your breath, you have to completely come to a stop, crouch, you know, look around, or you've got to crawl. Or you must, you know, get a mule stem, something like that, be ready to be overweight, get that strength up. But it is a little bit harder to deal with. Just know that everyone is dealing with that right now. So, I mean, from that standpoint, don't get too upset about it compared to last wipe. Everybody can move faster last wipe than this wipe, that is true, but everybody's dealing with it. So we'll see when people start hitting the max level strength and stuff, if that opens up this new gap where essentially that's a problem and you have these people who aren't dealing with the strength effects at all and can move like complete ninjas, and then you have people that are just sitting here moving like rocks. That could be a problem, but at this current moment, everyone's slow. So, I mean, at least we're all in this boat and this ship together. Lastly, again, that scav karma is just an absolute game changer. Please take note of that. Overall, all of the scavs in the game have better gear. They have better loot. Just it's pretty cool to see. It makes killing the scavs just feel better. Before you'd be like, oh, I shot a scav over there, I'm not going to loot him. You're a little bit more inclined to go loot that scav now. You actually really don't know what they might have. So that has been really cool to see. Also, just spawning in as a scav, you definitely never know what you're going to get. They just increase that part of the game. I think the reason they were able to do that is because now the player scavs are a lot less inclined to go shopping for scavs and just immediately kill all the scavs that they can see just by walking up and popping a scav that's not aggroed on them in the face. Whereas now you can do that, but you're going to suffer the fence reputation penalties for doing so. So there's a little bit more of that incentive, right? And we'll have to see, is this enough incentive for the good loot, right? Have they given the scavs too much gear and not enough incentive to not kill these, where people are going to be like, actually, it is way more worth killing these scavs than doing this fence thing. Or maybe it goes the other way, right? And then we have the scav armies that are just insane, right? So we'll see. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Completely different approach than they've done before. They're clearly wanted to add more of these unique experiences into the game and player interaction, which is, you know, not something I'm sure Nikita has always wanted, but it seems like he's moving in that direction a little bit more, which personally I'm a big fan of as a content creator. I love having unique experiences like that. So the last thing I'd really like to touch on here today, honestly, to wrap up our Calzax Gaming podcast episode 8 with a focus on Escape from Tarkov today, is I'd like to talk about my favorite raids since the wipes a little bit. Actually, one of my favorite raids was, I believe, yesterday morning, and it's up on our YouTube. Please go check that out if you guys are interested in seeing it. I've never had an experience like this raid, chat. Never had an experience like this raid. Just spawned into factory with like 13 minutes left, and scavs were everywhere. Okay. Here's the trick, though. None of these scavs were AI. I could not find an AI scav to save the life of me. All of these scavs were player scavs. I swear. They were doing the weirdest stuff, okay? And so I'd have to make sure they were friendly at first, but they were, dude. You know, and usually, you know, past wipes, I'm just used to going scav factory and boom, I'm in a fight immediately. Player scavs, we're killing each other. It doesn't matter. But now it's like, oh my God, I had 3 player scavs and myself all listening for gunshots, running around, working together. It was insane. Insane, guys. So I've just never had that experience, and it was a really, really fun time to like go out there and have a chance to just squad up with completely random people. And the way you do it's interesting, because you have to build that trust to know that these guys aren't just gonna pop you when you turn your back, right? And I remember this one guy was just crawling on the ground. You guys got to see it in the clip. Crawling on the ground. This is after I make friends with 2 of them. I come around. He's just crawling on the ground, like just whipping his head in the air, just waving it around. Oh my God, it was so funny. I nearly died that raid, and as I'm leaving the raid, the best part about it, nearly died because we like tried to go attack somebody. This guy walks up and just tosses a med kit on the ground, like as I'm extracting to help me out. I was kind of worried, you know, to come in there and be like, oh no, now I'm gonna kill you. Like you know, you've got some stuff, and I couldn't find a PMC. I'm gonna kill you. No, he's still trying to help me. He's trying to save my life. He heard me just coughing up blood, just dying, and he helps me out. I was like, wow, that I've never had a factory raid like that until this wipe. Just totally, completely new experience, and one of my favorite Tarkov experiences I've had because it's just so unique. so different than what I'm used to. And other than that, I'd like to talk about one more factory raid, actually, and this one involves, this is my first time killing Tagila. This is a really interesting one. So, we spawn in, it's actually me, and we you know, I love to do my squad play, y'all, you know, take it how you will, but I think I was with a few buddies, okay, in factory, I'm sorry, alright, I apologize, but we were trying to kill this guy, alright? So we go in, it's me and probably 3 other buddies. You know, we hear the other PMC get in a fight, dude, in the office, and we're like, okay, we'll go check that out. And then we just see his dead body in the hallway in office. We're like, oh, what's going on here? And then, you know, my buddy starts shooting at somebody on that bridge that kind of overlooks a lot of factory that you can, like, look out of and shoot down, and there's, like, a metal staircase that goes up to it. And somebody's, like, running away towards that metal staircase that goes down into the wooden room in factory from the third story office. And so my buddy's shooting at him. I didn't turn the corner and peek. I was just letting him shoot because I thought it was somebody with a gun. And he's like, okay, runs out of ammo. So I peek that corner, and it's right as this person is going around the corner, and I shoot him once in the legs with the shotgun. I'm like, oh, that should have got him. And then I go over there, and there's just a blood stain on the ground, and that's it. I'm like, where did this guy go? Because I didn't get a good image. I couldn't tell who it was, what it was. I just saw their legs that I shot right as he turned the corner, and I was expecting him to die right there because my buddy had been lighting him up too. Oh man, this is where it gets crazy. So me and my buddy, we're like, you know, obviously I've got myself and 3 other buddies. So me and one of them basically head to that metal staircase and like, okay, he must have gone downstairs. He must have just kept running. So we go straight down the metal staircase and just start looking around the wooden room for this guy. Like, where'd he run off to? And then my other 2 buddies are still at the top of the staircase. You know, just like, okay, kind of recuperating, just kind of getting the lay of the land. And well, this is where it gets interesting. So it actually turns out right at the top of that metal staircase, there is a connection to the rafters. All right, so they're hanging out kind of near that. And one buddy of mine is Sidu, and he's looking at the other guy who's new to the game as well. So he just had like a little handgun and nothing else. And he's looking one direction. And then all of a sudden, Sidu sees this sneaky guy coming up from the rafters behind. And then he pulls out the sledgehammer, takes it, whoppa! Gets the guy that was new to the game with the pistol, dead, right in the head. One shot, one tap, right in the head, dude. Sidu doesn't even know what to call out. He's like, what is happening right now? Starts shooting. I mean, basically, we hear the shooting, we're like, oh my god. So we run back up the metal staircase. Sidu does the best he can, but he gets his blood spilt on the ground too. I think he ended up getting like 500 damage out. At this point, we realize this is Tagila. This is the boy. Cryptic and I run upstairs. I've got my Mossberg. I start shooting. He starts shooting. Oh, man. He clobbers me once. He blacks both my arms. I got heavy bleeds in both. But we get him, bro. We get him. And he dies right there. Oh, it was quite the raid. Quite the raid. And that's when I got the chance to figure out about his armor and stuff like that and get out with it. Like I said, don't know if I would have been able to get him myself there just alone. I mean, it was quite the raid. Happy to have had some friends putting out some damage too. We still put out like 400 ourselves. Okay, we did some work. But I just didn't realize it was Tagila until like the last moment, you know? And just gave us the slip by going on the rafters like that. Just really gave us a slip. And then it was just crazy how we one-shot our buddy by smacking him in the head like that. So yeah, those are the highlights so far of the 12.11 wipe to me. A lot of those will be up on YouTube, of course. And wow, I'd love to hear about y'all's experiences. So please let me know in the chat, in the comments. Join up in our Discord. Link is in the description below. Let us know what's going on. Send us some clips. I love this game. I love seeing the experiences y'all have. And I cannot wait to go make some more of my own and share it with you guys. You know, I mean, we're here on stream where we play the game, and I know that it's a lot of fun for us to all hang out and see what's in store in Tarkov, or should I say Bushkov, if you know what I'm talking about. The real ones know what I'm talking about. Well, I think that is going to do it today for the podcast, episode 8. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and listening to my little 12.11 wipe monologue for Escape from Tarkov. I'm really enjoying this game. I always enjoy this game. I'm a sucker for it, okay? But, you know, I do think it's going in a good direction. This isn't one of the more, you know, massive wipes in terms of content. They did add a decent amount with the new boss and stuff, but I think there's some really good things coming for this game. Can't wait to talk some more with you guys. Thank you so much for listening and being here with me, guys. I really, really appreciate you. Just know that. It means so much, and I can't wait to do this again. So we'll catch you guys in episode 9. All of our previous podcasts are out there on the tube. Go give them a listen. Go give them a look. And we'll catch you next time.